What did school try to teach you that was obviously false? I had more than one teacher argue with me about the spelling of my name. I drew a picture of a butterfly in preschool and got in trouble for arguing with my teacher because she said butterflies don't have legs, so my picture isn't accurate. Doctor in street addresses was pronounced doctor, not drive. Saying no to bullies will stop them. We had a substitute tell us that condoms are bad because HIV is small enough to sneak through the tiny spaces in between the lattice of the latex. It was social studies period. 3 years later I saw him again for one of my science classes. He had us pass around this clipboard with some bullshit sovereign citizen-esque waiver, or agreement or whatever you want to call it, basically saying we agree to view religious material. He had all of us sign it like a petition and proceeded to put on some weird God is great sort of drama movie. We told our science teacher when he came back and he called the district and got the dude blacklisted. I had a history professor who thought the Disney Pocahontas movie was 100 accurate. She argued with us about it and the test was based on the movie. She also somehow had a relative or ancestor who was a key but also obscure figure in every major event in U.S. history. We had to remember their names and direct quotes for the tests. First day of class she told us the entire textbook was wrong and we would not pass the class if we used it. She was correct, because every single question on her tests was a figment of her imagination. That your permanent record would follow you throughout your career. Scaring kids into being good by saying you'll never get a decent job if you don't try hard in school and behave yourself. Some of the biggest dickheads in school ended up with great careers because A, nobody cares about your grades, and B, shit floats. A history teacher told us during class that Da Vinci believed he was a god. His explanation: he painted the Mona Lisa, which is supposed to be the perfect woman, and only a god can make something perfect, therefore Da Vinci believed he was a god. The teacher seemed so angry at Da Vinci for that, and went on a rant on how ridiculous he was. This was the only time something like this happened with this teacher. We were so confused. The food pyramid. Only parts of your tongue control the different tastes. Christian school told us that girls don't like sex. College was necessary if you wanted a good paying job, doesn't matter the degree. Had a science teacher who told me blood was blue until it touched oxygen. Luckily I knew she was wrong. I think it was during 3rd grade. That Asians have narrow eyes to keep snow out during storms. Yes, really. School tried to teach my kids that zero tolerance policies worked. That I wouldn't have a calculator on me wherever I go. When you go to high school, all your assignments will be written in cursive with a pen. I'm in high school now, and most of our stuff is typed on Google Docs. Whenever we work with paper, the teacher doesn't care if we print or handwrite. Most teachers have actually advised against using pens. A middle school English teacher once told me there is no difference between then and then. I still think about it today when I write. As a professional writer, just get good marks in school and your life would be great. We once had someone come to our school and give a talk about how dinosaurs exist today in the unexplored jungles of Papua New Guinea and Tasmania. Abstinence-only education works. My health teacher told us that you couldn't urinate while hard. All the boys in the class were pretty quick to correct her. Just because you are popular doesn't mean you'll be successful. Fuck all. Since graduating college it's been all about networks and who you know who likes you. I've literally asked people how they got their job and they said they knew someone that pulled them in with no qualifications or experience. It's a tough pill to swallow. When they teach me the senses, like sight, touch, all those 5 senses, we started to talk about the sense of taste and those MF tried to convince the whole class that our tongue has different sections and that we taste specific things in these sections, like the sour things were only tasted at the left back of our tongue, the salty ones in the right front. When they told me this I didn't believe it, but all my other classmates did and they made fun of me for not believing it. Guess who was right all this time? Me. All that shit about the sections of the tongue? Bullshit. Had a high school history teacher, she was originally from Alabama, try to teach the class that slaves were actually treated very well and that we were being taught propaganda. We were high school students, but we knew bullshit when we heard it. Someone must have said something, because the principal sat in the next couple of days and we got a more realistic view of what happened during the Civil War. That we only use 10 of our brains. Follow the rules and success will come to you. That there's only one right way to solve a problem. That we had a permanent record. In 8th grade sex ed, we were told that if males didn't have some sort of release their testicles would explode. Seriously. I have always thought it was intended for comic relief, but the instructor never did give us the "I'm just kidding" line. Needless to say, I went to Pound Town regularly as a child to avoid that fate. I ain't going out like that. When I was in school, grains were the most important food. Fruits and vegetables were number 3. That only the dumb kids leave and do trades. Every tradie I know earns a truckload more than a teacher. You won't get into a top university unless you do lots of extracurricular activities, read the news every day, and have an opinion on all major topics, can hold a conversation on any topic. Me no extracurriculars apart from playing guitar for my own amusement, doesn't read the news, doesn't like talking to people. My Oxford interview, lots of maths questions later. Interviewer: do you have any hobbies? Mia: I play guitar a bit. Interviewer: okay, great, now here's some more maths questions. I got in. I distinctly remember a video from 8th grade health class 2003 which said that you can get HIV from deep kissing, especially if you have braces. Only recently did I learn that that's totally false. I believed this for an embarrassingly long time. If you have sex with someone, it's like putting a piece of tape on your arm. Every time you have sex with someone new, you rip the tape off and retape with that same piece. Eventually it stops sticking, which is of course a completely accurate metaphor to why you will not have any kind of success in a relationship if you give pieces of yourself away to random guys. Also, female shoulders are bad, but never male. The story about how George Washington chopped down a cherry tree, the origin of Thanksgiving, and everything about Columbus. Oh, and I got an F on a book report once because the teacher insisted that the moon landing was fake and that books about the Apollo space missions are full of lies. In his defense, it was a really thick book and I wager the teacher was borderline illiterate. It wasn't from my school, but a friend's, their science teacher, would constantly try to explain that uranium was discovered by America, though he just couldn't find out who did, even though when Lyle half the class showed proof that it was discovered by a German man in 1789. The teacher would refuse to listen to the class to the point where he would yell at the kids and handed out detentions. My friend still doesn't know why he was so confident about it. That the American Civil War was not actually fought over slavery but over states' rights. This was at public school in Texas, around 2007, 2008. College or you suck. I was homeschooled to believe that the South had lots of reasons for the Civil War and that the North made it an issue of slavery to have the moral high ground. Color me surprised when I read in the actual Articles of Confederation that the reason they were seceding was due to slavery and their reliance on the practice. Edit Constitution of the Confederate States, not the Articles of Confederation. Edit for those that need to be deprogrammed. This channel's Checkmate Lincolnites series point by point deconstructs all pro-South arguments in a humorous way. My 3rd grade teacher insisted that the flat, unleavened cornbread was pronounced tortilla, and not tortilla. I corrected her during class one day and was suspended for the rest of the week. The principal said that if the teacher said that was how it was, then it must be right. That Columbus discovered America. I could trust my government. Got in an argument with one of my science teachers about narwhals. She seriously thought they were made up, along with bottlenose whales, puffins, and a few other animals. Made me start believing that you didn't actually need qualifications to become a teacher. That you have to abide by the rules to achieve something. The fact that it is necessary to follow the rules, and do as you are told, without asking questions. They annoy adults because they don't know the answer themselves. That the Vietnam War started because the North was rich and the South was poor and America tried to combine the two. Person face bombing. No one has ever offered me drugs. And also stop, drop, and roll. Sorts by controversial. That the justice system was the same for everyone. That because I don't believe in Jesus, I can't have good grades because Jesus gives knowledge to the most worthy followers. Also, it was fine that I was sexually assaulted by a male student, because he was young and will find Jesus sooner than others. I guess that's what I get for going to some tiny Christian school in the UK. The government is meant to help you. I had a music teacher that told us Beethoven was half black. Some slave owners were okay, and the really good slaves got to be in the house. That Columbus was a great guy and a hero. That you have to go to college to have any chance at a great career. That America is the best country. The American school system emo is fucked and full of propaganda to keep the average developing American from thinking for themselves and believing the land of the free and American dream is still the greatest thing out there. If so, why is our country falling apart at the seams slowly but surely, and why can't anyone survive with just enough work? That if you work hard you're sure to be successful. That we could all grow up to be whatever we wanted to be. The earth is 6,000 years old. I went to a Catholic school. That someday I would need to use geometric proofs.
I hope you all are doing well, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video. If you have something to say critically or otherwise, leave a comment. And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe to see more of it. I hope you all have wonderful and fulfilled lives.